The state of Arkansas has a heavy heart.
Right now on a special edition of Arkansas Crime Watch.
Gunfire erupted.
An Arkansas hero honored.
Deputy Stephen was killed at the scene.
A Stone County deputy laying his life before another.
Began as about as routine as you can get.
He served his community very well.
Nothing can bring him back.
His life, his honor, his sacrifice.
From downtown Little Rock, this is a special edition of Arkansas Crime Watch. Deputy killed in the line of duty. Here's Mitch McCoy.
Arkansas lost a hero last week. Stone County Sheriff Sergeant Mike Stephen was shot and killed in the line of duty. He's the first deputy in Stone County to pay the ultimate sacrifice. Tonight, we dive into the investigation, then explore what it takes to not only be a law enforcement officer, but be one in a rural county. Plus, investigating a police shooting. We'll bring you into the mindset. But let's begin with the latest on the case and the investigation into the deputy-involved shooting. Arkansas State Police say Sergeant Stephen responded to a domestic call around 8 o'clock Thursday morning on Flag Road. Shortly after he arrived, while talking with a woman, gunfire broke out. Stephen was killed on scene. The suspect, 39-year-old Samuel Fullerton, was also killed. The woman, 32-year-old Erica Johnson, was also shot. She is expected to survive. Here is a small portion of that news conference held by Arkansas State Police spokesperson Bill Sadler.
At 8:02 a.m., a call was received by the Stone County Sheriff's Department asking for assistance at a residence at 2021 Flag Road. The call related to a domestic welfare check. Deputy Mike Stephen took the call. Deputy Stephen arrived at the scene at 8:39 a.m. As he approached the house at the address of 2021 Flag Road, he encountered a female who he began talking to. In short order, gunfire erupted. Deputy Stephen was killed at the scene. The state of Arkansas has a heavy heart today. All too often now we're getting calls that are resulting in the deaths of law enforcement officers. There is no routine call in law enforcement. But what happened this morning began as about as routine as you can get. But anything can happen anytime, and it's happening all too often.
We're hearing exclusively from a person who says he was there when the shooting went down. He says he also tried saving lives. Yellow crime scene tape off Flag Road in Stone County surrounding a home riddled in bullet holes.
All of a sudden, it just blew up.
Rusty Story says he was here at this home when his friend, the suspect, and his friend's girlfriend got into a fight.
Yeah, I was trying to defuse the situation, just calm it down, and it just all of a sudden it blew up, and that's all you could hear was just gunshots.
That's when he says he saw the woman shot on the ground by the front door.
I was trying to get to the porch to get her out of there.
After the gunfire, he says he and another deputy were helping Deputy Mike Stephen, who'd been shot.
We got his vest off and his belt.
Rusty says despite CPR efforts, Deputy Stephen was gone. Rusty's friend, who was in the house, had also died, leaving Rusty to try and understand what happened.
I couldn't figure out why.
Deputy Stephen was a 20-year veteran of law enforcement. He was a 20-year law enforcement veteran. He was also a fire chief of a nearby department. Rebecca Jeffrey has more on his life.
Water cannons release across this law enforcement escort for fallen deputy Mike Stephen. The small North Arkansas towns of Calico Rock and Pineville stand watching the procession down Main Street. American flags line the way, and God Bless the USA plays in the background underneath the symphony of sirens. It's as painful as it is patriotic to watch for Stephen's parents, Linda and Joe.
And I would have never dreamed that flags would be flying at half-mast.
For our boy.
Completing each other's sentences while their hearts now incomplete.
He made his mark in the world.
Mike Stephen was born to serve.
Mike used to just say, somebody's got to do it, and that's what we do.
He bore many titles: Stone County Deputy, Pineville Fire Chief, and Army Veteran, which all come with risks.
He went to work knowing that it could be this way anytime.
Thursday morning, he went from knowing to experiencing. Stephen and 2 other deputies were called out to a house in Fox when gunfire erupted. Stephen died at the scene. One of Stephen's brothers told their parents the news.
Of course, we all screamed and cried, and it just couldn't compute in my mind that he could be gone.
Arkansas State Police confirmed the suspect, Samuel Fullerton, died, and Erica Johnson was injured but okay. The family says they'll be okay too, looking toward their faith and believing Stephen is with the son he lost last year.
You know, Joe and Mike are together, and I know God found something for them to do in heaven together.
We have been hearing so much about Stone County Sheriff Sergeant Mike Stephen, and we hear those things and you try and understand why this happened. I'm joined by Little Rock Fraternal Order of Police Vice President Eric Temple. Eric is also a homicide detective. He's investigated numerous officer-involved shootings. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's first talk, and I want to preference it by saying that Arkansas State Police is investigating this deputy-involved shooting. Can you first tell us what kind of mindset does an officer have to be in when you go in and you know that you're investigating an officer-involved shooting, possibly an officer shot, or at least in this case, a deputy killing?
Certainly, Mitch. Any loss of life is tragic, but as with the professional manner that we conduct ourselves in, any death investigation, we approach the same way, no matter who it is.
Can you speak to? This is something you guys are trained for. I mean, you guys kind of walk into this situation and some people would think, oh my gosh, like this is what's happened. But you guys are trained for this kind of stuff.
We are. You know, there's lots of schooling that we're sent to learn how to walk into one of these crime scenes and begin to pick up the pieces after something like this happens.
What's the difference from a regular homicide investigation or a case where an officer is shot, or in this case, a deputy is killed?
Well, truthfully, there's no difference in the investigation. It is a homicide, no matter how you look at it, and we investigate every one of them, no matter how difficult it may be. Either direction, we investigate them all the same, and with the same amount of drive and integrity.
Can't forget some of that video that we saw earlier of the procession and all of the law enforcement agencies that came together last week on Thursday to bring the body of Sergeant Stephen back here to Little Rock, to the State Crime Lab. A lot of members were involved in that procession.
Certainly, you know, that's part of our profession. There's definitely a brotherhood. I know people talk about the brotherhood and the blue line a lot. That is certainly true. Anytime something like this happens, the law enforcement community comes together and we try and pick each other up and the family of the officer. And the main thing is to never forget the sacrifice the officer made and to remember that we're going to carry on his memory.
I was sitting in the parking lot of the Stone County Sheriff's Office Thursday night after the shooting, getting ready to go live on TV at 9 o'clock. And you see all the people coming in. You see game and fish, wildlife officers. Mm-hmm. You see highway police. You see state troopers. You see the police departments and the sheriff's office. And it all hit me when you see the police cars speeding out mm-hmm. pretty fast. Yep. You knew they were going to a call.
Absolutely.
Even in the state of trying to figure out why did this happen. And I lost someone. I lost a brother. I lost a coworker today. These officers, these deputies are still responding to calls.
Certainly. In law enforcement, we all hold ourselves to a certain standard and a certain amount of professionalism, and as hard as it may be when something like this occurs, you still are obligated to honor the oath that you took to defend and protect and serve the public, and that's what we have to continue to do even when something like this happens.
Eric Temple is the vice president of the Little Rock Fraternal Order of Police. Of course, knowledge of officer-involved shootings and in those investigations and trying to piece together exactly what happened. Thank you very much for your time tonight. We appreciate it. I know that Little Rock is going to be very well involved. The FOP is going to be very well involved in the funeral, processions, and things to come in the coming days. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We want to move now to Sergeant Stephen and talk a little bit about his sacrifice. He is the first deputy ever to be killed in the line of duty in Stone County. He's also the first officer killed in the line of duty in Arkansas this year, and the first since 2017, which has been an especially rough year. Lieutenant Kevin Mainhart of Yell County was shot to death during a traffic stop in May. 1 month later, Newport Police Lieutenant Patrick Weatherford was fatally shot on a call. And in August, Drew County Deputy Sheriff Timothy Braden died in a car crash, and that was during a pursuit. A police escort transported Sergeant Stephen's body to the state crime lab in Little Rock hours after the shooting. We were just talking about that. Police departments and sheriff's offices from all over Arkansas showed up in the procession. Susan Alcori was there.
One by one, officers light the way for a brother who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
It's an honor to do it.
Even from the sidelines, there's nothing easy about this moment for Carl Minden.
You just kind of feel like you need to be there.
The Bryant police chief stood guard as Stone County Deputy Mike Stevens' body passed.
You know, the call goes out and it was answered.
They never met, but news of the domestic call turned shooting that killed Stephen hits close to home.
It's emotional every time you see it, you know, because it could be one of your officers, one of your friends, it could be you.
This trail of blue rolled from Stone County to Little Rock, stopping at the Arkansas State Crime Lab.
It's the stark reality of what we do, to be honest.
Sirens silenced and tears fell as law enforcement from across the state lined up.
Sergeant Stephen obviously started off this morning, didn't know how it was going to end.
A salute to a brother in blue.
You know, he laid down his life for another, and he paid the ultimate price.
Whose loss is only just being realized.
But, you know, we're still going to be there for his family, though.
As I'm sure you can imagine, neighbors in small Stone County are certainly surprised their community became the state's main focus after the shooting.
My son told me he heard some gunshot, and he started to fire just to say, hey, you know, we're here. But he just heard several rounds of fire, and he didn't. We got a call, and somebody asked if I was okay because I live out here by myself. And he was just here. We were getting a load of scrap. But anyway, he said he started to fire back just to let him know, and then my neighbor called, or I called her to see what was going on, and she said that had I heard something, and I said, well, Jason heard shots, and then she told me what had happened.
Talk to me about this area.
We're just live out here away from everybody in our own community. We're everybody knows everybody, and we're just pretty tight community. I mean, it's really going to be a hard thing to deal with.
Can't even imagine. Stone County is very rural. It's 609 square miles, a population of a little more than 12,000 people. In a 2010 census, it ranks 57th in both size and population among Arkansas's 75 counties. Law enforcement is always dealing with dangers on the streets, and while Sergeant Stephen had backup on the scene when the shooting happened, rural law enforcement agencies are always dealing with issues mainly because of its size. Lonoke County Sheriff's Captain David Bufford is joining me now to talk more about this. Captain, thank you. I know this is a difficult time. Can we talk a little bit about the difficulties that you guys face in rural Lonoke County?
Well, as you can imagine, the distances that we have to cover to take the calls to help the citizens, the distances we have to cover to get to our fellow deputies to assist them with, you know, such as backup and whatever help they might need, can be up to 45 minutes.
That's almost, I mean, that's mind-blowing. That's not even almost mind-blowing, that's mind-blowing. Because you put this into perspective, let's say a city police officer, even Stuttgart, I mean, we're looking at video from Stuttgart. they likely have a police officer or, another coworker that might be a block or two away, or at headquarters, which is 3 or 4 minutes away. Even Stuttgart officers can get to each other faster. Why is it that Lonoke County and counties all across the state of Arkansas have a difficult time with size and maybe even trying to get to your backup when your backup needs you?
Well, it's just a lack of funds. We never have totally what we have what we need. There's certain things that we would like to have, like such as more manpower. That would help us to get to calls a lot faster and make it a lot safer for the deputies that are out there.
What kind of resources are rural sheriff's offices lacking overall?
Well, the attrition rate, deputies come in for a little while, they'll find other jobs that pay more money, that have more backup. We've lost several deputies through the years because they did not feel safe being out there. It takes a very special person to be out there on their own with a lot of the things that we deal with. I applaud them all. It all boils down to a lack of funding, I believe.
Let's say, for example, a deputy needs backup. How long of a delay are we talking?
Well, like I said, it can be up to, I've had to wait 45 minutes. When you're fighting someone, that's an awful long time. You get real tired before the help gets there.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your service. Thank you very much. I know, and I've been to Lonoke County so many times, and you guys, the professionalism in Lonoke County is really something, and I know you guys are just so dedicated to service. We appreciate it. Real quick, just one last question, and this is just to try and put things into perspective for some people who may not be familiar with the size of Lonoke County. Does the city of Cabot have more police officers on a shift than Lonoke County?
Absolutely. Each shift, I don't have the number for Cabot. They have quite a few more officers on the street than we do for the patrol of Lonoke County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. I think that puts everything into perspective. Captain, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Reaction to Sergeant Stevens' death quickly followed. Governor Asa Hutchinson has ordered the state flag to be flown at half-staff in his memory until his internment. He tweeted this: "It is heartbreaking to hear that Stone County Sheriff's Deputy Mike Stevens was killed in the line of duty today. My heart goes out to his wife and son and to his fellow officers and his friends in their grief at this tragic loss." The law enforcement community also showing support. The Conway Police Department says, quote, "The members of the Conway Police Department offer our heartfelt sympathies to the members of the Stone County Sheriff's Office and the family of Deputy Mike Stevens, who was killed in the line of duty this morning while serving the citizens of Stone County." And in Izard County, which neighbors Stone, saying, "Our prayers go out to the family, co-workers, and friends of our brother in blue in Stone County." And Cleburne County says, "Our thoughts and prayers are with the Stone County Sheriff's Office and the family of the deputy that was killed this morning. Rest in peace, brother. We'll take watch from here." Stone County says it's received an overwhelming amount of calls and messages from people wanting to make donations to Sergeant Stevens' family. A donation account for the family of Sergeant Mike Stevens has been opened at First National Bank of Izard County. They have locations in Mountain View, Calico, Melbourne, Mount Pleasant, and Horseshoe Bend. If you are unable to make it to one of those locations and you'd like to donate, you can mail your donations to the address on your screen. It's P.O. Box 1999 in Mountain View, Arkansas. Checks can be made out to Susan Stephen donation account. As we leave you tonight, we remember a hometown hero. So many hearts are heavy. People are in pain, and rightfully so. A son, man, father, husband, and sergeant went above and beyond his call for service last week. Sergeant Stephen took an oath to protect and serve. He rushed into a fight, ending his watch with pride and honor, leaving a legacy of service in his name. In the words of the Arkansas State Police, there's no routine call for service. The call was dispatched, and the call was answered. To the brave men and women who protect and serve, we thank you. To fallen Stone County Sheriff Sergeant Mike Stephen, we will never forget you. Good night.